China's domestic problems seem never-ending, but that hasn't stopped it from playing the perfect host. Almost every week, a world leader is in Beijing. As we speak, the New Zealand Prime Minister is there. Soon it could be the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. They don't have a date yet, but Netanyahu has told US congressmen that he'll soon visit China. Some of them were in Jerusalem, and that's when he dropped the news. And now it's making headlines. Although this won't be his first visit to China. He's been there before, thrice. So this will be his fourth time in China as Prime Minister, but it's feeding a lot of chatter because A, America is Israel's biggest and closest partner. America and China are at odds, and Netanyahu's visit at a time like this sends a message. And B, he's not been to the US in this term yet, but he's talking about going to China, which makes you wonder what's going on between Netanyahu and Biden. You see, Benjamin Netanyahu was elected as Prime Minister last December. It's almost been 6 months, 180 days, but he's got no invite from the White House. These two countries, the US and Israel, are as close as they get. Israel is America's biggest ally in West Asia. America gives Israel billions in aid every year. It's been called an unbreakable bond. But it seems the Biden administration is not feeling it. They're keeping Netanyahu at an arm's length, not sending him an invite, and disagreeing with him publicly. This happened in March over Netanyahu's proposed judicial overhaul, a deeply unpopular move. It triggered the biggest protest in Israeli history. They were close to a civil war then. Among the protesters was the US president. He said Netanyahu should drop the plan.
They cannot continue down this road. And I've sort of made that clear. Hopefully, the Prime Minister will act in a way that he will try to work out some genuine compromise, but that remains to be seen.
Now, that's a public rebuke of a close ally. Obviously, it did not go down well with Israel, but Netanyahu played it down. He said friends sometimes do have disagreements. Listen to this.
You know, Israel and the United States have had their occasional differences, but I want to assure you that the alliance between the world's greatest democracy and a strong, proud, and independent democracy, Israel, in the heart of the Middle East, is unshakable. Nothing can change that.
You heard that. An unshakable alliance, he said. But are Israel and the US still as tight as they claim? Netanyahu is not new to politics. He's been Prime Minister for 15 years, Israel's longest-serving Prime Minister, in fact. He's dealt with multiple US presidents. He's navigated changing relations and equations. He did not share a great rapport with Barack Obama, and now he's getting a snub from Joe Biden. So he's going for the second best option, it seems, and that is China. He knows that US-China relations are at an all-time low. He also knows that his visit to China will make the Americans sit up. But that may not be his only purpose. He may want to achieve more than sending a message to Washington, D.C. Which brings us to the China-Israel relationship. First, the numbers. Trade was at more than $9 billion in the year 2012. By 2022, it almost touched $22 billion. China has been investing in Israel despite the roadblocks from the US, and there have been roadblocks. So both sides have been going slow. Plus, China's historic support to Palestine has posed problems for Tel Aviv. And yet, Netanyahu has persisted. In 2017, he called the Israel-China relationship a marriage made in heaven. Well, he said this about India too, so it makes you wonder if this is his favorite phrase. In his personal life, he's been married thrice, so do your math. Anyway, the question now is he going to China to consummate this marriage? He's an astute politician. The world around him is changing very fast, and China is playing a big role in that. Recently, Beijing brokered a peace deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. For Israel, Iran is a sworn enemy and Saudi Arabia a coveted partner. Israel also wants to normalize ties with the Saudis. Some help from the Chinese would be welcome. So that's one reason. The second reason could be the Israel-Palestinian conflict, the holy grail of foreign policy, as it were. Every US president has tried and failed. Now China wants to mediate. This month, China hosted Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. So is it now Netanyahu's turn? Will he engage with China on the question of Palestine? Honestly, we don't know yet, but either way, China may be the winner here. The Israeli leader's visit sends a message, a strong message to the US. It also marks another interesting turn in the politics of West Asia. We'll be tracking it for you.